Hey, my name is Jamey Arent, and today I'm going to show you how to get some really expressive sounding neo-soul chords into your guitar playing. So in this lesson, we'll be looking at jazz-influenced neo-soul chords. Chords that are going to make your rhythm playing sound really expressive. These are chords that you might hear played by players like David T. Walker, Spanky Alford, and Isaiah Sharkey. They're really great sounding, and we're going to look at playing chords in more of a pianistic approach. So instead of the traditional just finding a chord and strumming it, we're going to think more like a piano player who might drop a chord with the left hand and play a little flourishing melody on top with the right hand. But we're going to make all that happen on the guitar. So let's dive in. All right, the first chord that we're going to look at is just going to be this C major 7 chord. C the root, G the 5th, B the 7th, and E the 3rd. But in an effort to make this chord sound a little more interesting and a little more expressive, we're going to hammer on that 3rd. So what I'm doing is doing this bar with my first finger all across the 3rd fret. So we have C, G, B, and then the bar is playing this D, which is the 9th of the chord. And then I'm going to just drop in my pinky a little bit later. It's like the pinky, which is playing the E, the 3rd of the chord, just gets to the party a little bit late. So you'll play all 4 strings, and then hammer on the 3rd of the chord with your pinky, 5th fret, 2nd string, just a little bit later. And another thing you can do is play that pattern and then do a little upstroke with the G that's on the 3rd fret, 1st string. Once you've got that bar down across strings 1 through 5, you can also use your pinky to explore some of the other notes that fit in the chord, like the 13th on the 5th fret of the 1st string. So once again, thinking like a piano player, we're holding down the lower part of the chord like a piano player with the left hand, and then throwing on a little melody on top. Adding a little vibrato there, we can do this all in one chord shape. So let's look at another C major 7 voicing. So what I'm going to do is take this little 3-note C triad, G the 5th, C the root, E the 3rd, and this is happening all across the 5th fret, strings 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to hammer on the 9th on the 1st string with my 3rd finger on the 7th fret. So I'm hammering on the 7th. You get a little bit of that 13th, the A, briefly, and then you drop in the 7th. You might say this chord voicing looks familiar. You might have seen this as an A minor 9. That's because there's a relative major-minor relationship between C major 7 and A minor 9. So any of these C major 7 voicings you can use in place of an A minor 9 and vice versa. All right, so now let's look at a D minor 7 chord. We got D the root, A the 5th, C the flatted 7, and F the flatted 3rd, and on top we have A the 5th. So what we're going to do is hammer on the flatted 7, C, on the 1st string with your pinky. We're going to hammer on to the 8th fret. And then what we can think about to make our chords a little more melodic and a little more interesting are the scales and notes from the chord that live around the chord. So if we're playing a D minor 7 chord, we can look for the notes of D minor pentatonic. And as I hold down the chord, I can play those notes. But one way to get that David T. Walker sound is to do hammer-ons and pull-offs, little trills too, between these notes of the D minor pentatonic scale. You can take this shape also and move it up to E minor. Here's another great D minor 7 chord I like to use. So what I'm doing is I'm playing D the root, F the flatted 3, C the flatted 7, and with my 1st finger making a bar, I'm playing the D, the root, that's on the 3rd fret, 2nd string. But I'm going to kind of take that bar at a bit of a diagonal angle so I can hammer on the pinky on the E that's on the 5th fret, 2nd string to give me the 9th. So another thing you can do, once you have this voicing under your fingers, is ditch the root. That's the bass player's job. And we're going to play the higher part of the chord. And what we're going to do is add the 11th on top, a G. And we're going to do that by playing the bar with your first finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. So now we have F, the flatted 3, C, the flatted 7, E, the 9, and G, the 11. But we can still do that hammer on with your pinky from D to E to the 9th. But here's a cool pattern I like to do. So what I'm doing is I'm arpeggiating the chord. I'm picking the notes individually, but I'm letting them ring out for that D minor 11. And then after I've picked all 4 strings, F, C, D, G are the notes, I come back and do the hammer on from D to E. And the cool thing about this chord is you can also use this voicing when you need an F major 7, and then it becomes an F major 9. So we're thinking F the root, C the 5th, D is the 13 that goes to the major 7, and G is the 9. Another cool place you can use this very same voicing is when you need a dominant chord. I use it as a G sus 13. Because for this voicing, if we're thinking of it as a G7 chord, we have F, the flat 7, C, the suspended note, the 4th, E will be the 13 that we hammer on from the 5th to the 13, and G is your root. So another cool way to play a G sus 13 is to take a bar across the 10th fret, strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then hammer on with your 3rd finger the 12th fret on the 1st string. And if we're thinking of this as a G sus, we have G the root, C the suspended note, the 4th, F the flatted 7, A the 9th, which is a great sound, and then we have the 5th on top on the 10th fret 1st string, that's the D, that becomes the 13th, the E at the 12th fret. 2, 3, 4. So I'm just resolving that to a C major 7. You can also find the other notes of the G Mixolydian scale that would go with this around the chord. And of course we can also use this for a D minor 9. And if you want a dominant 7 chord that's not suspended, check out this G13. So what you'll do is you'll make this G13 shape, whether you make the upper part of the chord or if you want to throw in the root. And what I'm going to do is just hammer on with my 3rd finger the 5th fret that's on the 2nd string. So I'm getting the 5th becoming the 13th. And you can practice this whole thing by going up the diatonic chords of C major and just looking for the notes in the scale, the notes in the key that live around the chord. So we could do this through C major 7, D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7 sus, A minor 7. And you can use this for coming up with songs or writing guitar parts. Thanks again for watching this lesson. I hope it was helpful. Go ahead and try these chords all over the neck in different keys. Put them in songs that you know. It'll really help get these chords and this technique into your chord vocabulary. Once again, my name is Jamey Arent. I'll see you in the next lesson.